Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Genshin Impact set of reactions. Today we have Sorrows Calmed and From Beyond as requested by Lightning, because even though Lightning didn't technically win the most likes on their comment, Harshit decided to comment the day and night themes from the main location in Nod Cry, which I've been to dozens of times. I've heard those songs, and I can't really do a reaction on songs I already know, so Harshit by a default and technicality lost out on this one and Lightning won, so congratulations to Lightning! Woo! Woo, we did it! Finally! Finally, somebody beat Harshit, even though it was a technicality. Either way, here we go, get into these, and without further ado, let's go! And because of the technicality from Harshit, I looked up to make sure I hadn't been to this area where these songs are from, and I haven't, so... Or very least, if I did... I don't think I had the music on, because I usually try to turn it off when I get there. Yeah, this isn't ringing a bell, though. I really like that. The piano in the background. Ooh. Ooh. Got some wind chimes in there. Oh, I love that texture. Because they weren't just like standard wind chimes either. That sounds like random like bottles and stuff dangling off of like a garbage heap. That's so much better than just having a standard wind chime. It's very eerie beauty to this one too. I mean, this whole area of Nod Cry kind of has that feeling to it, but... There's something very special about how that one was composed. I really like that. I mean, like I said, most of the areas in Nod Cry kind of have that, like, forlorn kind of wandering energy to it, where it's just like, you don't feel like anything's really locked in or sitting still, and nothing's, like, nailed to the ground. But this one, it does that, but even better than some of the other ones. All right, so this is one of those songs where I ended up just kind of figuring it out on the piano and just kind of goofing around with it for like the past 15 minutes, and I shouldn't have done that because I'm wasting my night doing that, but also, is it wasting it if you're having fun? So for me on this one, beautiful. I mean, I was already thinking that. It is beautiful. But the reasons it's beautiful are surprisingly straightforward. I mean, this song tends to lean into this hook of using the F and G a lot on the keyboard. And the G is actually where it tends to like hang on to. That's kind of like a constant root here. You see how it always goes back to that. It's just like, oh, it's so good. And again, like the whole like what I think might be the key here is that scale. I'm not sure which one that is, I'll be real with you, but God, anything you can do in here. There's just so much beauty in this. There's a lot of sustain, a lot of crunchiness, but also a lot of beauty. Like there's sustain notes in here. There's a chord that's like a C2. Oh man, there's so many here. I think this is an F2, an F sustained. And there's just a lot of, that's a C minor right there. It's like right in that core. And again, it's just, especially for that main, you're just kind of sitting there with, and it just, I can't get over how beautiful that is. And it does at times go from like this E flat down to the B flat. And it's just like right here, there's like minor thirds and majors. This is the perfect fourth here. And like a lot of these, like that's another minor third. I mean, Oh, it's just so pretty. I mean, I could, again, go on another 10 minutes like I was to myself, just kind of playing over it, because if you play anything in that scale, is basically the melodic scale of whatever this song is, and you can basically play any of those notes in any order around this song, and most of the time it'll just sound beautiful because there's a lot of room to just kind of freestyle over this one, to be real with you. There's not too much going on, and that's the other part of it that makes it beautiful. The fact that this is very stripped down and very empty, and that's definitely due to the nod cry effect. Like, they're trying to make you feel like there's a past here that just doesn't exist anymore. There is a culture here that once was here, and this is kind of the scraps and remains. We all know that about Nod Cry. So for this one, having things like that sound design of the wind chimes kind of just being, you know, weird, like almost sounded like trash hanging from strings. It's the type of wind chime that feels like it's made out of like recycled and reclaimed items that you would just find on some person's front porch, you know, like something that they made themselves that's just kind of made out of the remnants of something else. And there's that beauty to that that adds to the area as well, the aesthetic that we know of Nod Cry, but also to the sound itself too, because it echoes even deeper in the music, allowing for that like dissonance to kind of ring out in here and clash against this very beautiful and again very forlorn sort of sound that we are getting from this one. It sounds absent, it sounds like an echo, and that's where like sitting there on that G and just kind of rolling with it is such a beautiful choice here, because every single time you root yourself back to this G, that sticks around. It's there for a lot of the song, and it really just holds your attention to that. It keeps bringing you back to this one point in the scale, this one point in time that just seems to be holding on no matter what, not letting go. So like when you get down to what the music theory of this song could mean for something like this, I did say I looked up the area, but that was just the name of the island. I've never seen it. I don't know what it is, and if I have been there, I don't remember the music. So it's like I've been around most Nod Cry, to be honest, at this point, mostly just for farming though. So like I said, I turn off the music to avoid spoilers like this, so I don't know if I've been here. But this one almost reminds me of like that island. There was like a big crest, and I think there was a house on. It was just like an island like off to like the back right of Nod Cry, and there was just like this thing there. I don't know if there was like a hole in the center of this island or what the hell, but it was like this giant like half circle kind of like dug into the side of it. And the only thing I really did there was like fight something. There was just like some like mini boss over there or something. So I just like fought that and then I left. So like again, no audio. So it's like that reminds me of that area for some reason. Maybe it's just the wind chime thing in there making me feel like that reclaimed earth sort of feeling. And that's probably one of the most like common areas, because I know this doesn't play at the chicken place. I found that too. And I know what song plays there. I did a reaction on it forever ago. So I know that it's not that. And that's the only other place I could think would play that, but that's because there's a battle there. I knew it wouldn't have something this calming. So I'm figuring the only other place that would have something like this would be maybe that island off to the backside. So let me know if I'm right there. Maybe I'm kind of in the right area, at least part of the game, where it feels like left alone, you know, like to its own devices. And again, that like reclaimed feeling, that echo of time past and things being there is so common for Nod Cry. It really could be playing anywhere. So I'm not married to any guess there, but that's the only spot I don't think I've heard any music in. So, you know, process of elimination, maybe, but like it doesn't feel like any other part. This definitely doesn't belong to the Fatui like factory. So I don't know, maybe I am right. But either way, I need to listen to From Beyond next. So let me do that, and hopefully I don't get caught in this one and end up playing for another 10 or 15 minutes. We'll see what it has though, shall we? Well, that's spookier. Is this a night theme? This feels very Nod Cry nighttime. Ooh, the string. Maybe we're about to have a party. The clock keeps ticking. Every step I take, every breath that escapes my chest. Am I alone here on this earth? Sorry, it just gave me that vibe. Again, very Nod Cry with that feeling. Start monologuing. Ooh. Okay. Half-step dissonance on that one. It's still giving nighttime. Love those vocalizations. Just sprinkle those throughout the entire area. That's interesting. Is that the same? Is that a modulated version of the same piano part from the first one? Is this from the same area? I didn't read that far. It might be. I'm gonna have to check that out now. All right, so I want to correct something from the last section. I looked it up to see what areas these came from, just to see if they were from the same place, because one felt like a day theme, one felt like a night theme, and they felt similar enough. I was like, maybe. So now I know what areas these are from, and I also want to correct that I think I screwed up, because like, one, I was completely wrong, so sorry if I already wrote a comment about it, but I did not have the first area correct at all, but also I had the first area like in my head, and I swapped it with a different island. So I was thinking of the what was it, the Eye of Krati or something like that, where it's like up in that like top right section of Nod Cry, and I was putting the like half circle dome thing from the fucking chicken area I mentioned down there, like that construct. I put that on the other island, and I thought that that was one island. Again, shows you I've been there like once. Like, I don't remember much about these areas, but these are apparently from neither of those, and now I know that one is from the shoal, one is from the Nothing Passage, and I really haven't spent any time in those areas. I've walked through them. I don't even think I've been through the passage entirely. I went like around the side of the island so I could get to the Fatui place so I could farm some stuff. That was about it. So now I at least know that I'm completely off base with what I was guessing, but now this one makes sense for the Nothing Passage, just given what that is and how cramped that would be. Again, I haven't really walked through there. I don't know exactly what it's like, but I have seen the entrance to it and the backside of it because I had to walk around the island to avoid any potential triggers for anything. I don't want to trigger any story stuff while I'm in there because that would ruin the experience if I accidentally got invited into a story that I have no clue what's going on. I just started wrapping up the Sumeru Archon. I haven't even been to Fontaine yet, so like I have no clue what would be going on in that area. So it's just in general, now I get it. Now it makes sense and why this one sounded kind of similar but also different. They're very close to each other on the map, but this one did feel a little bit more like lonely, kind of like I said, it felt more like a night theme. This one had some other energy to it that was more mysterious than the other one, and I think that that's what I was kind of projecting the nighttime essence onto, but really turns out that it's mostly just because it's kind of a dark, dingy, and a little scary area. You know, it's something that you don't know what's going to be around the corner. Is there a corner? You don't know. I assume that this, again, narrow passage would be full potentially of like bandits or whatever else. I don't know what you would be fighting in there. I haven't been, but at the same time it definitely gives me that energy, and that's why I was like, maybe this is something like a day and night cycle, because it sounds similar to that first one in like the pattern. It more sticks around this like E instead of the F, which is what the other one was sitting on, that G for a lot of the song, and the F especially, but like this one sits on the E and we get this. It's just like kind of that back and forth, and then it'll go and down to the A flat there, and it's just like, okay, well, sure, but like it's close enough in how it was patterned, and again, it feels like everything was kind of like a half step down, maybe apparently in this case like a full step down, and it definitely isn't the same key, but it was just similar enough that it was bugging me, and I couldn't figure out exactly why until I played around with it, looked up the areas, of course, just to make sure I wasn't going crazy. Turns out I was, but in a completely unexpected direction. And this one, I get it. I get why this song sounds, now obviously that I know the area, why it sounds so spooky. You know, like it's the area. It has that feeling, this tension behind it that you really may not be alone. You don't know what's around the corner or if there is one, like I said. So it's a very interesting tone, but I mostly think it's funny to me that I somehow kit bashed two entirely different areas together and thought it was related to those. I think it's just the wind chime thing was getting me there, but then now the shoal makes sense why the wind chime would be there, very blustery on the coast. So this all makes sense now, and I kind of spoiled it for myself because I usually leave you guys to like clarify and explain to me, but I had to know if these two were from the same area, so I decided just to look it up this one time. Usually I don't go that far, but for this one, it felt like it needed me to. I had to figure it out, and I'm glad I did, but also I don't think I'll do that again just because it feels like I took some of the wind out of my own sails. My own wind chimes are now dead. There is no breeze blowing through them because now I can't involve you guys as much in trying to correct me and giving me lore dumps or stuff that belongs to that. Luckily in this case, it was just two different songs for an overworld area relatively that I don't really need any spoilers or worry about any spoilers from that, but it could have been, and I really shouldn't have done that for myself. So I'm not going to be doing that at all going forward. I figured one time wouldn't hurt, and I realized how much it could. So I guess that's about all I got to say on these ones. I've been yapping for a while. I've been messing with these songs for, in total, with the recording, about 40 minutes. This video will be nowhere near that long because I paused between while I'm messing around on the keyboard and such, but boy, have I been here a while, and I need to get another video done tonight. So thank you all so very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want me to get to another set of Genshin songs, ideally ones I haven't heard, so maybe not like the main area of Nod Cry, looking at you, Harshit. Otherwise, you can request whatever you want to from Nod Cry, because I do tend to avoid all of the areas, so if I haven't heard it yet, the odds are I haven't and will avoid it actively. So if you have some from that area, or any other area that I haven't heard any music from, or at least most of the music from, you can always throw me anything you want to. Maybe there's a new event coming out, I don't know. But either way, let me know if you got something. But if you don't want to do any of that, maybe you just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!